Joining us now, retired Lieutenant Colonel Bob Maginnis. The colonel served in the Army for 24 years. He's now a U.S. Army senior strategist and author of the book, Divided We Stand. Also with us, former National Security Council official Richard Goldberg. Richard Goldberg is a senior advisor at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Okay, Colonel, this news. Israel recovers the body of Yehudit Weiss, a 65-year-old mother of 5, murdered by Hamas. Now, Yehudit's husband also murdered by Hamas on 10/7. Her body, Colonel, was found in a structure adjacent to a hospital in Gaza. So why are Democrats and Americans, anyone, protesting against Israel and standing with terrorists who commit such atrocities?
Yeah, Liz, the spin in the media, unfortunately, is that Israel's at fault in spite of the fact that the Israelis have demonstrated through all sorts of videos and other evidence that Hamas did some absolutely horrific attacks, beheading babies, burning alive women and children. These sorts of things should not be tolerated. But yet, you have people, even in this country, who have been have a demented view of what's really going on. And that misinformation, unfortunately, is promoted by not only leftist media, but you have a number of conduits. And to a certain degree, you have TikTok, as we know, and others that are permeating even the truth in this country.
What the colonel just said, Richard, this is about the slaughter and abduction of innocent civilians. 32 Americans were murdered among the 1,200 killed. An untold number of Americans among the 239 held hostage. Richard, let's listen to this heartbreaking speech from American mom Rachel Goldberg. Rachel is the mother of son Hirsch Goldberg Poland, who's now held hostage by Hamas. Listen to this.
Right now, how we are living is hard to describe to you. We hostage families have lived the last 39 days in slow motion torment. Why? Why is the world accepting that 240 human beings from almost 30 countries have been stolen and buried alive?
Richard, your reaction? Richard.
Well, it's absolutely heartbreaking what she and all the families are going through right now. But I will say, when we look out at that crowd that she was speaking to, American flags waving all across that rally this week in Washington, and you see the pictures outside the Democratic National Committee, you showed them a little earlier, trying to tear down American flags throughout this country, trying to attack U.S. members of Congress. These are terror-sponsoring thugs, and they don't represent most of Americans. We need to find out who's behind them, who's funding them, who's organizing them.
Who's funding
This was in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's right. Richard, we're going to stay on that story later in the hour. Colonel, do you believe these reports that Hamas and Israel are talking about a release of at least 50 women and children in exchange for a 3 to 5 day ceasefire?
Well, that's certainly something. I think Mr. Biden talked about that at his news conference last night, or at least he started to until Anthony Blinken kind of nodded not to. Yeah, it appears as if that's in the works. Now, whether or not the people in Qatar, where all the rich Hamas leaders are going to agree to that. But the IDF should not stop this effort, unfortunately. We need to make sure that they destroy Hamas. Otherwise, as the president said last night, they're going to return and do exactly the same thing as soon as they can.
The president just did say that. Richard, he also said it's a war crime that Hamas hid its military headquarters inside a hospital to use Gazan civilians and patients as human shields. I mean, the IDF says it found weapons inside a Gaza hospital, MRI X-ray room, anti-tank missiles and rockets hidden in children's strollers and under a girl's bed.
Well, that's absolutely right. Hamas is committing a war crime every single day. They use people for human shields. They're using civilian locations like hospitals, like mosques, for their terror infrastructure. And under the laws of war, Israel is doing everything correctly, morally justified, working to destroy this terror infrastructure while minimizing civilian casualties. And as the colonel just said, if you force a ceasefire on Israel right now, you allow Hamas to survive this, they will rebuild, it will rearm, and you will have many October 7ths to come. Now is the time to finish this off.
Yeah, Israel, they're asking Israel to lay down their arms. Hamas will not lay down its arms. What Richard was saying, Colonel, when you compare the peaceful march for Israel to the absolute mayhem of the violent anti-Israel riot last night in D.C. at DNC headquarters, Colonel, the March for Israel had no threats, no intimidation, no violence, no calls for genocide, no masks, no faces covered. But why just one rioter arrested last night? 6 cops are injured. They were pepper spraying cops in House office building, congressional office buildings. He was put under lockdown.
Yeah, these professional agitators, Antifa people that are dressed all in black, and they, whoever is going to pay them, they'll go out and do their bidding. You're right. The massive rally the other day was incredibly peaceful. It was a testimony to what the First Amendment's all about. But it's these radicals that are paid professionals that are out there agitating and waving the Palestinian flag that are not only undermining this country, but are promoting, genocide as far as I'm concerned.
Colonel McGinnis, Richard Goldberg, thank you so much for giving us your insights and helping us out tonight. We appreciate you.